Hello everybody and welcome to this week's bonus podcast where we're going to be telling you all about our latest trip up north. Yes, we have been again. We have just come back from a lovely three days. Were we in 3 days, Gemma? 3 days.
So.
3 days in Manchester. 3 or 4. Who's counting?
Not me.
No, it's fine. We're back now. We're back. And we're back to tell you about it because we know you like to hear all about the stuff that we've been getting up to. We got pictures, we got videos, we got stories. We had a lovely old time again. And it was all centred around going up to Bolton to go and see a play starring 3 ex-Corrie cast members. Charlie de Mello, who played Imran, Vicky Binns, who played Molly Dobbs, and, of course, the incomparable Helen Flanagan, who played Rosie Webster. They were all in the memory of water at the Bolton Octagon Theatre. So we said, we'll go and see that. And then, as always, plans just grew. So we've got loads of Corrie things to talk to you about. We've visited filming locations. We did a bit of the tour again. So, Gemma, should we get started? This is what the people come for, to find out what we did and see pictures of it if you're looking at it on YouTube. We went up on Sunday. And if you remember, the previous Friday, I was feeling proper poorly when I was doing the podcast. And I literally spent all of Saturday in bed thinking, I hope this is the worst it gets so that we can still go on Sunday because we got a schedule to keep. And luckily I did. And I drove all the way up on Sunday and it was fine because we had a special apartment, but we were back in MediaCity, weren't we?
That's right, we got one of the Airbnbs that looks out over the set. It wasn't as high as we wanted it to be.
No, we never know. Like, we went to the same Airbnb listing as before and said, yes, please, can we have that same place, please? And if you remember last time, which was November 2024, I think, we were like way high up on the 26th floor or something. And this time we were on the 6th floor. So although we did have Coronation Street outside our window there to have a look at, we could have a bit of a spy at the gates. We couldn't see properly down into the set at all, but it was still great. It's still a lovely apartment. Just not quite what we were expecting.
No, but because we came at the weekend, it meant that we could jump onto a tour and have a look at what is new in Coronation Street and the Coronation Street experience.
Well, we left early in the morning because we wanted to make sure we were there in time to catch part of the last tour. We didn't go on a full tour. They kind of snuck us in towards the end of it. But we had heard that there was a few new things in the shop and luckily in the waiting area. So there's a few new things. If you haven't been there recently, you can actually get inside the experience and see them without going upstairs, right?
Yeah, it's in the foyer, so they have a little Corrie display with the behind the scenes, like a big screen showing some behind the scenes stuff, and then
all stuff that's been on ITVX.
Yeah, Debbie, Carl, and Billy's costumes from Corrie.
Yeah, Billy's slightly singed because outfit was there. Debbie's lovely wedding dress, and Carl with like blood stains on it. It was cool to be able to see them in real life. I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, we didn't have to go upstairs to see that, so that was nice of them to do that. But also in the shop, we'd heard that they'd had a few new bits of merch, so we bought a Corrie mug, which Gemma approves. Gemma, who loves a thin mug with a lip.
Yeah, I liked it.
This ticks those
Very
boxes.
Good.
Yes, and they had a new pin badge, didn't they? That's like, I've been on a Star tour or something. We didn't get one of those, but it is nice that there's always new stuff when we go out there, and it's, as always, it's lovely to speak to the people working at the desks.
Tour guides.
The tour guides. And we spoke to Rory, didn't we, who we'd been in touch with and telling him, we're going to come along. So we talked to him. And he was really kind, actually, because he took us into the cinema and we got a little private viewing, didn't we?
Yeah, we got to see the new edit, didn't we, of the
Corrie clips
intro. It's like 10-minute long music, set to music, and lots of clips of Corrie, and it evolves, constantly evolving. So this latest version has got a few of older things and a few newer things. Yeah,
there was lots of new stuff. So this is what if you were going on a tour, you go in and see this before being taken out onto the street. And this one had a fair bit from the last couple of years, actually. There seemed to be, I've noticed a lot of Evelyn in there, but I don't know if that was just me. But yeah, there was it? I don't think there was any Corriedale stuff in there. It wasn't as recent as that, but there was Swala bits in there. There was there Todd and Theo? I don't remember, but it's always good. It's nice to see a lovely, how long is it? 8 minute maybe? Corrie edit of clips over the years. And it was great just being able to be in the cinema on our own watching it as well.
Yeah.
Got to like properly spread out and feel like a VIP.
I didn't even sit next to you, did I?
No, you didn't.
I don't think the front seats are the best ones. I went in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I was craning my neck a little bit, but I didn't care. I was there.
You wanted to be in the front row?
I wanted to be in the front row posse because that's where the cool people sat.
Right,
I knew there was no one going to be in this knocking on the back row anyway because Rory
weren't there.
Rory was there as well.
Yeah, Rory was standing away because he didn't want to be involved.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was all fun, and then he took us out onto the street. We just kind of caught the end of a tour. It was tour guide Sarah's tour. Hello.
She was great. She was really great. I tell you what, the thing I love about the tours is all the tour guides just love Coronation Street, and they do. It's like seriously a passion for them. They enjoy it so much, and they're so hardworking, and they are the face of Coronation Street to like hundreds and hundreds of people who come through. They really, I think they all need a pay rise. What do you think?
Oh, yes, totally do.
Yeah, they do. They all deserve, and they're all just so knowledgeable and enthusiastic. I love them.
We were really lucky when we went out because it had been raining all day. Like, you know what the weather's been like in this country the past month and a half since Christmas. It's been absolutely diabolical, and it had been a very soggy Sunday. But when we walked out, the sun wasn't shining, but
no, we were quite jammy with that. We managed to get
at least it wasn't wet.
Yeah, but it was. Have we ever been on a tour when it's been raining?
I think we've been in tours in all weathers, to be honest.
But rarely it rains when we go there.
Yeah,
so if you want good weather, just come with us.
Though it was quite nice for us because the last time we went, all the Christmas things were up, and so Eva, she's got her flowers on the front of the Rovers now, hasn't she? But when we went there last time, there were also all the Christmas lights as well. So this is the first time we'd seen the Eva Priceified Rovers frontage without all the Christmas stuff. But apart from that, it was fairly similar. There was scaffolding outside the corner shop, and I don't want to give... I don't know any spoilers.
You can't give any spoilers away because we
don't know anything.
On.
I don't know why there's scaffolding outside the corner shop, but
it's not really hard to put together that Theo's a scaffolder.
Yes, who might have put that there and why?
His house is covered in scaffolding, and you can just imagine what.
I'm sure he's just doing some innocent works there.
Innocent work.
I know that they're filming kind of mid to late April at the moment, so it's not too long to wait. I'm sure it won't have quite as epically long a lifespan as the scaffolding that was outside Number 1 those few years back.
They're not going to
maybe this will even have a plot purpose.
They're not going to chuck him off the scaffolding like Jeff got chucked off a roof, are they?
No.
Imagine if every single time somebody is just a coercive domestic abuser, they get chucked off a roof.
Down they go. I don't know. But no, apart from that, it was fairly the same. I wanted to have a look into the garage to see what was on the notice board, but it was empty. So I think they had no jobs on at Webster's, which must have been quite nice for them.
Quit.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we stayed there for a bit. Gemma made me do a little thing for social media, which was me spinning around in a circle looking scared so I could be the 6th murder victim. So everybody who says that was funny, that was Gemma that made me do that. But it was a bit weird because...
You do not want to do it.
I didn't want to do it. Didn't want to do it in front of other people. And it was based on a scene that hadn't officially been shown yet on ITV, had it? Because of that. Because the episode leaked a few days earlier.
It's not like anyone could watch you and go, wow, that's a spoiler.
No, that's true. And
then you cleverly edited it, didn't you? Like, to make it look as though it was done at night.
So I put on a nighttime filter, just like they do on all nighttime scenes on Coronation Street. Anyway, so that was fun. We then we went upstairs then into the Star Tour room. And as always, the Star Tour guest is a mystery to the punters. And it was I couldn't believe who we got. It was lovely. It was Georgia Taylor, who's one of our best friends. So that was nice, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was good to see her. She was so good with everybody. She came out and she sort of said a few words about working on the show. And then, as usual, you can all queue up and have your photo taken. And then she had a bit of extra time today because it was the last tour.
Yes.
And she
did a Q&A,
and people asked her various questions.
She was very nice, very nice.
What's your favourite podcast? And
nobody asked her what her favourite podcast was, but we knew what she would have said.
What's your favourite pudding, etc.
We ended up, it was cool because over the years we just got to know more and more of the tour guides there, and we ended up, while she was doing the photos with other people, just having a bit of a natter with Rory and Julie and some of the others as well, didn't we? Sean, exactly. It was lovely.
I love them all. I really do.
Corrie tour guides are the best people. I want to be a Corrie tour guide, but it's a bit of a commute, so I can't.
Well, yeah, I mean, some people do travel to be a Corrie tour guide.
Well, I know Sean comes from Birmingham.
Yeah, but and some people travel like an hour or more just to do this job.
I couldn't travel for 5 hours to do it. But anyway, it was lovely. And then afterwards, we were very lucky and we got sent, we got allowed into the little side room, because if you've done the Coronation Street Experience Star Tour, you know that you're told who the guest is going to be, and then they come out of their little side room down the corridor and like, hello, it's me. So we went into the side room, which was just a conference room, wasn't it?
They're all just conference rooms up there.
It's just like a room with desks around the outside, like a classroom, and Georgie was sitting there with her bottle of water in the Coronation Street water bottle. Thank you very much. And we chatted for like 15-20 minutes or so, and security guard Dave was there guarding. Sure. I felt like, you didn't need to stay here, Dave. At one point he kind of knocked on the door and was like, how long are you going to be? I can't remember what he said, but...
Well, he takes his job very seriously.
He does.
That is important because he's there. He's protecting people. You know, you've got to be careful. There might be weirdos around. You don't know.
Yes. But anyway, so after that, Dave let us downstairs, and that's when we went into the exhibit part, because we'd heard that there was a few new bits and pieces there, which there were. There was Tommy Orpington's gold bust, if you remember that from 2 years ago, year and a half or so ago. So that was cool. That was put in the place where Vin Diesel the Weasel had been, which is now Pride of Place back in the Platt's house again. But the last time we went to the exhibit, there was just a big empty space where they'd hastily taken it away and not replaced it with anything. But now Tommy Orpington is there and all his shining golden glory. So I got a picture with him. What else did they have? Billy's what do you call it? His wakeboard. I didn't know he was a wakeboarder.
Yeah, he is.
No, it was the photo board that we used during his wake, wasn't it? With a load of pictures of Billy over the years. So I took a picture of that. And they also had the Roy and Hayley snowmen. I don't think they had that before, did they?
It used to be... when they had the old sets.
Yeah, we saw it on the Key Street tour they 10 years ago. Centre. Yeah, that's right. So I can't remember when this was actually on Coronation Street. It must have been 10 or 11 years ago or so. It was just before Hayley died, wasn't it? The big snowmen that were built, but they're actually made out of polystyrene or something. And they're still there, looking a little bit worse for wear, but it made a great photo opportunity, so I didn't care. And that was it. We did that. We went downstairs and that was it. So if you haven't been to the Coronation Street tour, get on it. It's great.
I think
Thank you very much for letting us in, Corrie Tour Guides.
They need to replace the information boards with video screens. That needs to be their next job. Their next thing. But I just know it's going to be so difficult to get anything updated because it takes a long time for things to get approved. So... but, you know, some of the information's out of date. Some of the characters have already gone. It would be so good if they could have screens like showing clips and things. But
because it's been there a couple of years now, hasn't it? That exhibit, and it needs a little bit of a refresh.
And Continuum are two different companies, so they don't. Although they work together on the tour, it's not as though Continuum can make whatever they want. They have to get ITV to approve it. So I'm sure they've thought of this themselves.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure that there will be changes. There's always little tweaks and additions.
Yeah, that's what keeps you coming back for more, doesn't it?
Yes. So no doubt we'll be there again at some point this year.
Yeah. And then that evening, I dragged Michael off to Blacklock, which is, I love it so much. It's
a restaurant.
Yeah, it's a chain, but I hadn't been there for Sunday roast yet. So we went and had a really lovely Sunday roast with unlimited gravy, and they kept filling it the gravy boat back up, which was brilliant, and had a lovely cheesecake, which is my favourite pudding in any restaurant. Michael's not that keen on it, but I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's fine. I haven't got much of an appetite at the moment, but it was a very nice meal. So that was Sunday. So we went back to the flat, all the way. Like every now and then I was just like staring out the window, just staring at Coronation Street going, is anything going on there? It would have been really cool if there'd been night shoots, hadn't there? Because like it's going to be at some point around about now, they're going to be filming the Swallow wedding, which we know there's fireworks at. And yes, they're probably going to be CGI fireworks, but I was just kind of hoping that we might see something, but no, it wasn't anything going on.
I had a dream today that we found out that on Friday they are going, which is tomorrow as we're recording this, they were going to let a live audience come and watch filming on the street, and I was like, oh no, I can't believe Michael's going to be so mad.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. But what I was determined, as I always am when we go up to MediaCity, was to hopefully bump into somebody from the cast and get a photo. But I really had bad luck this time. I think this is like my worst experience ever, or my worst luck ever at meeting cast members outside the back in MediaCity. Now, to be fair, it was absolutely flaming freezing cold, so I didn't spend too long loitering at all this time compared to usual. But on Monday morning at various points during the next few days, I just leave Gemma in the flat and say, I'm just going to go around for a walk and see if I can see anyone. And I'd go down and I'd like walk across the bridge, have a little look around, maybe take a few photos there, walk up to the entrance to the Coronation Street experience, walk back again, kind of go, is anyone walking up? And I didn't see anybody.
You should take up smoking.
Barely.
Because that would be a good reason to get out.
I didn't. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? I didn't want to just stand around loitering.
Outside for some fresh air.
It was really, really freezing, so I didn't put my full effort into it. But you always kind of, when you're doing it, and I know it makes me sound like a crazy stalker, and I promise I'm not. I promise I'm not. Like, sometimes you'll see in the distance and going, oh, that could be somebody there, and I guess I'll never know. Because there's always people going into the set, isn't there?
Yeah, it's the back. So I've said this many times before. There's two entrances. There's the front entrance, which is where you go if you're driving by car, and there is the back entrance, which you go if you're coming. And people come from all over the place. So some people walk in from like the city centre or go on a bike and they go in the back way, or they come on the tram, walk through MediaCity, or they live in MediaCity, or they stay in a hotel there.
But it's mostly like other office workers and crew and upstairs people and marketing and makeup. And I'm sure I saw at some point, Gillian Walsh was one of the makeup ladies there. But it was always from a distance, and then you think, funny. if I'd set off 30 seconds earlier. But,
it's so funny because every so often you do see like really glamorous young women, and you're like, oh my goodness, is this one of the characters? It's like, no, it's just one of the very beautiful hair and makeup ladies.
So anyway, I got up on Monday and I had to wander around, but I didn't get anywhere with that. And we had some very boring non-Conversation Street related work to do in the morning, didn't we? Like, I had some marking to do, and you had a course to go on. But so we didn't really get up to anything else until the afternoon. Although, oh no, you did your live, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Gemma did a YouTube live.
I thought, I know what I'll do, because I've seen all these videos of just like ambience, like here's a video of some like on a train or whatever. So I thought, why not just do a live of MediaCity, just like
ambient, like
just out of the window, because there were like 3 or 4 windows we had that you could film out of. And so I popped the camera on the tripod there and I just started filming, and I was going to do it for an hour. Just
to see if anyone would turn up.
And then I got bored 20 minutes in. So if you find it, there is commentary 20 minutes in, 21 minutes in, I think.
Yeah, you started talking to people because it was cool. People did come along and they were sending us messages.
I didn't expect anyone to turn up. So when people started asking questions, I was like, I have to answer these questions.
Yeah.
And so I was telling everybody about some very good secrets that you'll never know unless you watch that video.
No. And somebody was very kind and sent us a super thanks, didn't they?
We really do appreciate
Which is something you can do on YouTube, where you click a button and then it sends us a little bit of money.
It's really, well, it can send quite a lot of money.
Coronation Street, you do a good job. Anyway, so that was cool.
It really helps. We definitely needed the extra cash this time because there was a lot of expensive things to do.
Yes.
I mean, this hotel, Airbnb is quite expensive.
So we did go out.
And the bloody parking as well.
Yeah, but in MediaCity parking, extortionate. So we went out on Monday afternoon up to Trafford Park, which is, you could probably walk it in about, it was about 15 minutes, wasn't it? Because
you could walk.
But we went in the car because, as I said, it was cold. And we found the spot where at New Year, Theo dumped Todd and got him to walk all the way back on his own. So if you remember, Theo was sent out to a bakery to go and get something or other, and Todd went with him. And he let Todd walk all the way back by himself.
Made him. But didn't let him.
Made him. But I did look on Google Maps, and it was only about 15-minute walk. So
it looks like a good place to go.
To be honest,
at lunchtime, nothing was open when we.
There wasn't actually a bakery; it was a sandwich shop. It was Emma's sandwich shop, I think it was
There's
called.
like a fish and chip shop, there's a Greg's, there's like a curry place.
Well, it's also in the vicinity of a couple
shop.
of other Corrie filming locations. They love going there. So there's a big old abandoned hotel there that we've spoken about in the podcast before called the Trafford Park Hotel. Big, like, red and yellow kind of building. And they filmed there just recently when... who was it?
I can't remember.
Brody and Liam stole the car and they drove past it.
And Carl's been driving around.
Yeah, Carl later drove on it and George kind of clocked the teenagers in it, so that was filmed there. There was also a scene where Ken and Roy got arrested back in the day and Chesney ran away and he had a little scene there once. So it was a really nice building, but yeah.
It's
abandoned.
not. It's a lovely.
So
it was a lovely building. It's very sorely neglected at the moment.
But it's also you can like turn 180 degrees and see the place where Peter had his AA meeting in that very famous scene with him and Blanche in the other Barlow. So it's it's a proper hotspot for Corrie filming locations there, and as I say, very very near to the set. So why not use it?
Yeah, and
although it was far away when they were at the old set. So.
I think what happens is because it's like there's like a little T junction. Like blocked off area, like a road that doesn't connect to anything, and I reckon that they park all of their production stuff in there, and that so you're not getting in everyone's way, and nobody goes down there and gets in your way.
So we did a few photos there. Then we drove back to MediaCity. We ended up parking in the Imperial War Museum car park that time, didn't we? Which is a good place to park if you're going up to the experience because it's just like a minute walk away from the front door of it. And a little bit cheaper because we knew that we'd be going back out again that evening. So we went up to the hotel for a bit, and then when we came back to go out for the Airbnb.
Oh, did we? No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. We parked there, and then I'm sure we did because then we came back later and it was dark.
Oh.
And wet and cold and rainy, and that's when we had our first proper in the wild Coronation Street cast encounter in the shape of Aaron McCusker, who plays Ben.
Ben.
You were kind of powering on ahead of me, weren't you? Did you spot him?
I smiled at him.
He had his hood up. It's like nobody wants to be outside longer than they needed to in this weather.
I know that the temperature is like not that different. This country is kind of everything's kind of this very similar. But MediaCity is so windy that the wind.
There's a breeze coming off the quays.
Makes it incredibly cold. It doesn't feel like the temperature everywhere else.
No, it was horrible. So we were right on the crest of the bridge, and I was like, whenever I walk through MediaCity, I'm always just like, get my eyes out. Who can I see? Is it anybody? Is it anyone? And then I saw him with his hood up, and I was like, I think that's Aaron. I said, hello, Aaron. I was like, no, I shouldn't interrupt them, but I did. And he's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And he didn't know it was me.
He doesn't like you.
He does. He thinks I'm amazing. I'm sure. He didn't. It was dark. He didn't.
I did. I was only
before.
joking. It was just so cold.
So I said, "Hello, it's Michael from the podcast." We had literally 10-second chat, didn't we? Because nobody wanted to be standing outside.
Stopping, it was cold.
He wasn't stopping. It was cold. It was wet. But and get this on tape now. He said, "Oh, I'll have to come on the podcast sometime." So. He said it now. He said it. Aaron McCusker, future guest on the podcast. He's promised it. Right. So that was lovely anyway. We didn't get a photo or anything because it was a very quick ships passing in the night kind of moment. But then we went off to...
not the time or the place.
We went off to Stockport that evening, didn't we? To go to a little buffet. What was it called?
I'm just trying to look it up.
It was a big fancy pyramid sort of building in Stockport with a lovely Asian buffet.
I don't know how you say this. Royal Nawab Pyramid.
Yeah, there we go.
And it was
nice.
a very good high quality Indian, Pakistani buffet. It was more expensive than a usual one, but it's definitely worth going if there are lots of dishes that you want to try with your family. It was neither of us. We
did not have an appetite.
It was like the poorest performance I've ever turned in at a buffet. And it was such a shame because there were so many things there that you can't normally get, like nahari so.
It was good. We stayed there for a bit. We had to get back home because Gemma who is now the queen of YouTube Lives, had decided to plan another one for 9:30, hadn't you? Which is,
Yes.
give a bit of time after Coronation Street had aired, and this was the big flash forward episode. So you were like, oh, let's do another live on YouTube, and it was great. We had loads of people turning up to it, didn't we?
I love that.
And then the chat
fun.
was going away, and people sharing their theories. Who's killed? Who's the murderer? Who's been murdered? What do you think of this? It was really, really lovely. It's the sort of thing that we should probably do more often. But the fact that it came after such a big episode, and on the live we had the MediaCity in the dark, didn't we? The Coronation Street studios in the dark, which was a nice little.
And Michael kept hitting the table.
Yeah, Gemma kept having a go at me for hitting the table and making it wobble. It's fine.
Anyway, we had a great time doing that. Although there were some technical issues at the beginning.
Yes. Go and watch it now and listen to us whispering to each other frantically for the first 10 seconds. So that was Monday. Tuesday, I think I had a bit of a lie-in then, but I still had a bit of an early morning wander around MediaCity. No joy in finding anybody there. It was Pancake Day, wasn't it? It was Shrove Tuesday. So just nearby where we were staying, there was a place called... It's just called Moose.
Moose Cafe.
Moose Cafe or
Another
something.
chain.
Yeah, like a Canadian sort of chain. So we went there and had pancakes there.
They weren't real pancakes.
What do you mean?
They weren't.
They weren't crepe pancakes.
They weren't
were
Pancake Day
thick,
pancakes. They
They
were
were
American
big, thick
pancakes.
American pancakes. Yeah, it was lovely. It was nice.
Yeah, it was really nice, but it's no.
Anyway, that
Galette,
was
is it?
finally at that point when the main reason that we came up to Manchester began, because we've been kind of fanning around. We had a lovely time at the tour, but we didn't come for the tour, and we had a lovely time visiting, having a wander around MediaCity, but we weren't there for that. The main reason why we wanted to go up was to go to Bolton, and not only was there the play in Bolton at the Octagon Theatre, but you might also know that Corrie sometimes films there, particularly court scenes. So Weatherfield Magistrates Court currently is filmed in Le Mans Crescent in Bolton. So we decided to go and have a look at that. And that was something that's been on our list of must-dos for years, isn't it?
Yeah, go to the old Magistrates Court, and it was absolutely fascinating.
It really, really was. Now, I was quite... I decided beforehand, I don't want to just see the outside of this. I wonder if we can get in and have a look. So I emailed the Bolton Film Office, and they were really, really lovely, and they gave us exclusive access to inside of this. Well, it's a former magistrates court. It's not used anymore. It's not used for law stuff. It's used for filming. So loads of TV shows have been filmed there. I mean, of the ones that we've watched, we also saw Happy Valley. They did a scene there, didn't they, with Tommy, what's his name? Tommy Royce, something or other?
Yeah.
He escaped when he was on trial there. But Coronation Street has been using this since 2021. And yeah, the Bolton Film Office are great. They work with all sorts of productions all over the city. They provide
All
support.
different scales,
Yeah.
all different.
Exactly, yeah,
They
exactly.
support them all stages of production there, so...
Yeah, they were very keen to show us inside. And also, but there's loads of things that are filmed in Bolton. So, I mean, if you're interested, go and have a look yourselves. And there's other places around the city you might recognise as well. Yeah, go to Bolton, have a look around.
It's lovely. That Le Mans Crescent was just really impressive. There's a museum there as well.
It's right around the back of the town hall.
Really gorgeous building, and being able to go inside of this, it's a grade 2 listed building. Yeah,
it's a real treat. So this has been used in Corrie. Sometimes you get your small court scenes, don't you? And that's filmed in-house in Coronation Street. But when they want something a bit more on a grander scale...
It's a more serious crime.
Yes. Since 2021, this has been the place to go. And actually, quite a few of the older court scenes pre-2021 were done in Bolton as well, at the old county police station there, which is not used anymore. Well, I think they use it for ghost tours, so, maybe Gemma will want to go back there one day, because that is her thing.
We went to another location the next day after this, and both places I said, have you got any ghosts here?
This is the hard-hitting facts that you come on to these places
and both of them were like, not really.
So this was first used in Coronation Street for Corrie and Kelly's trial in the Seb kicking murder storyline. Toya was on trial there. That was 2021. Then it basically once a year there's been a Corrie court case here. So Toya was there in 2022, answering to the crime of driving Imran into the wall. Got away with it somehow. Justin Rutherford, Daisy's stalker and acid attacker, had his trial there in 2023. Roy was on trial there in 2024. And then just last year we had Lauren, very fittingly, Bolton's trial there. She got away with it as well, didn't she? She got away with bludgeoning poor Joel Deering and helping to put him over the side of that viaduct.
It's a great place to go if you've done it and you don't want to get in trouble.
It seems like it is, but you'll definitely recognise this place if you're a Coronation Street fan.
It's so distinctive, it really is.
So we met up with Julian from the Bolton Film Office there, and he took us inside. He was great, wasn't he?
He was really lovely,
knowledgeable.
really nice guy.
He'd just been working there since, I think, about the beginning of last year, wasn't he? Or a couple of years.
He's worked for the council for a long, many years.
So he only had experience of being there when they were filming Lauren's trial last year, so he could say, oh yeah, some of the people were setting up in these side rooms here and telling us a little bit about how it worked. And he said, oh, I don't watch Corrie, but the wife has it on in the background, so he knew bits and pieces about it, but he was mostly there just to show us whatever we wanted to, basically. And because you got your big steps that you can walk up and you see the characters going up these steps outside the front and go into the big double doors there, but actually that was blocked off, right?
Well, we didn't go that way.
We went in a side room.
Bit.
Yeah, and it was cool. It was a real feeling of entering this kind of forbidden, abandoned, it's a little bit haunted place. Because it was like dusty.
It wasn't abandoned as in like run down or anything.
No.
It was disused.
Yes. And
there was no furniture or items like that. In some of the screenshots we've got, there are like pictures on the walls and like signage and things. All of that would have had to have been brought in by whatever production is filming at the time.
No, it was very empty.
They dress it up how they like, and you can make it look, like however you like, which must be very, very handy for production of movies and TV. And there are so many, it's vast. There are so many rooms there that you can have set up, green rooms, makeup areas, catering, whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, when you go in there, you see the little side rooms that you walk past, and they're, fairly nondescript. And then we saw the front desk, which I guess has got the Weatherfield Crown Court logo on when it's used.
That bit.
Yeah, that bit is. That's the bit where, do you remember when Corrie was on trial and he winks at Abby when he gets away with it?
What a dirty dog.
He was a proper dirty dog, wasn't he? But anyway, eventually we got led into the courtroom itself, and it was brilliant. And both of us have done jury duty before, haven't we? So we have been inside a courtroom. Duty. Have you not? Oh no, you haven't.
I was in the press.
Yes, Gemma's been in a press thing, but we've both been in a courtroom before, but actually going into the Coronation Street courtroom, it was magic.
And being able to go everywhere you wanted, and there was nobody else there.
Yeah, Julian just let us freely roam this really grand room, going in between all the banks of seats, and it's got quite a recognisable kind of glass box. I don't know, was it where the defendant stands?
Really distinctive. I don't know what the purpose. I don't know why they put that in there. Because not every court has this glass defendant's box, does it?
No. So I said, can I go in there, please? And I was like, yeah, knock yourself out. So I went in there and got some photos in there. I even, later on when you were downstairs, I snuck behind and I went to the bench where the magistrate sits as well. So I kind of...
Oh, the judge.
The judge, whoever it is, I still haven't learned this. So I went back there and... Then
I didn't get to see that bit.
Then he took us downstairs, and you see these scenes on Corrie and other productions where when somebody doesn't get the result they're hoping for, shall we say, they're often dragged kicking and screaming down these stairs into the cells.
Take him down.
And because this was an actual, real, disused courthouse, there's just this maze of cell rooms underneath,
I cannot believe this. Julian
it's huge. Was telling us quite it's like an underground lair.
Yeah, Julian was telling us quite a few bits and bobs about how it all works, and he was saying like when you're in this box and you're about to receive your sentence, you'll know if you're going to get away with it or not, because the police will come and stand behind you if you've got to be taken down.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know this either. He told us that the reason why there were so many cells, there must have been what? I don't know. There were dozens.
Dozens of cells there.
You get brought in the day before and you sit in your cell and you wait until you're ready to be seen. And there's more than one court there. I think there was only two, but
yeah, we only saw the main one. Didn't we?
I don't know how many other ones there were, but so they're trying all these cases, because you would think, some of these high profile cases, there's only one person on trial and it could last for days. So why have they got all of these cells? It's because the people are there waiting. And it was so funny. It was basically like a little mini prison.
Yeah, it was. It totally was. And going inside, you could like open all the cell doors, look inside, and just how grim it was down there.
So dark.
And a lot of the doors had like graffiti scratched on the inside as well, hadn't they? Like where the inmates had carved their names out, or was it done for production?
I think those people have broken in, because one of the names I definitely saw scratched into going up to the public gallery, and there's no way that the prisoner would have gotten out and then
you spoiled the magic of it.
I don't know, some of it
one
might
of the
be.
Scratches said Norris, so I love that as a Coronation Street viewer. I don't seem to remember him being on trial, but I don't know.
Well, he would have loved
he would have loved the experience. Yeah, and Blanche, she'd have given her back teeth to go and explore down here, wouldn't she?
So in this maze of cells, there's also like toilet areas.
They had like, you see on TV the visiting area where you got your panel of glass and the prisoner sits on one side and then the relative sits on the other, and you put your hands together in the middle. So there was that there.
There was also like the booking area where you come in and you get your you get taken in and
get your fingerprints done and whatever else happens when you go into prison.
There's a little interview room there where people can have a little chat, and loads of interview rooms actually. I don't know why they were interviewing people. It seems like there's a lot more to being held at court than I originally
They don't show the boring stuff on TV all the time, do they? I ended up wandering off on my own then for a little bit. You mostly stayed with Julian, didn't you? Gemma was being very good and asking all the good questions. And I ended up going back to the court, and that's when I went and sat in the judge's bench. But I also went up to the witness box, and there's a little sign there that's painted in front of you saying, speak loudly.
That's right, and there's a little seat.
It was really cool to be standing in the place where we'd seen all these Corrie characters giving their evidence over the years. Yeah,
because you've got that bit, and then opposite that is where the jury would sit, and then you've got all of the benches for the solicitors to sit at, different, the opposing sides, and then I think the press box was against the wall, and then the defendant's glass box, which led straight down to the cells. So imagine standing there in front of people while they're trying to decide whether you did it or not, just knowing that beneath you is possibly your future for years. And then also on top of that, looking down over everything is the public gallery.
Oh yes, we went there just before we left, didn't we? He was like, is there anything else you want to see? We're like, yes, we want to go to the viewing gallery. So this is where everybody stands up and goes, objection! Or
they did it! I can't believe it!
He's innocent! And shut up, Mary.
So that staircase was quite... You got to really commit yourself to go up there, haven't you? Because it's quite a long staircase. And then
you don't even get nice comfy seats at the top either, do you? It's just like really giant steps that you get to sit on.
It reminds me of... it's like an amphitheatre, or like... It's not seats, it's just steps. Like with
big chunky steps.
Yeah, and you can sit wherever you want really. It feels like quite chaotic and higgledy-piggledy. I can imagine if it's a high profile case. How many people can you really squeeze in there? Like infinite amount of people really, because there's no assigned seating. It's not... I can't imagine Blanche enjoying sitting on there.
No.
There's no cushions.
No, she probably bought her own though, didn't she?
She's probably got them to store one for her.
Yeah.
And so, you get to look down into... I'd quite like to go to a public gallery.
It was really, really, really fascinating. So thank you very much, Julian, and the rest of the Bolton Film Office who let us have a look inside and get as many pictures and videos as we wanted.
And if you want to film anything
really great
in a court, I highly recommend them.
Yeah. Well, I was tying up my gimbal, wasn't I? We bought this gimbal thing, like, was it last year? Was it 2 years ago?
I don't know when we
and it's always seemed like such a faff to get it out. And when we're there in the middle of everybody, you look like a bit of a nerd carrying this thing around. But this is great because it was only me and Gemma, and I look like a nerd in front of her all the time anyway.
Yeah.
So I was there going along and getting all my smooth videos. So it was great.
Makes
anyway,
us look professional.
We were in there for what, half an hour or so, I think?
Oh, it was so... I loved it. I love looking at stuff, and I was just trying to imagine what it was like when it was... a working court.
So Julian let us out and he went off on his way, and then this is when we'd arranged to meet lovely Charlie DeMello. Imran, speaking of, he'd had his own scenes, hadn't he? He'd worn a white wig in there before. It was a shame he couldn't come in with us, but he was too busy doing his rehearsals and things, I think, for the play. So, but because, we were really good friends with him, we hadn't seen him for about 2 years or so, had we? And so we met up, and that was lovely. Really, really lovely guy. And we went off to lunch with him. Do you remember what the place was called?
I forgot the name of the place, but we had we had dosas, and you had white. What was it? No, butter chicken.
I had some butter chicken. Yeah, it was lovely, and we ended up chatting for hours, and it was great. It was really, really lovely.
You were just asking him what he was up to, what he was. How the play was going and what it was like working with Helen and Vicky, and he was telling us about the other actresses who are in the play, who were absolutely magnificent as well, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. It was great.
I'm just seeing if I can find their names because they really.
I'll go for it. Well, yeah, we talked with Charlie for a bit, but then he had to go back to do some rehearsals, and he was telling us like they have these intimacy calls, was it he called them? I can't remember, where they have to practice the snogging scenes, and like you think it's just a case of get on the bed and snog and just be really British about it, but it's all properly choreographed, and if somebody's sick, he was saying, or if somebody's feeling a bit uncomfortable with it, they all take that into account. So they had a bit of that to do that evening. So then we had a wander around Bolton, in the dark and in the cold, until we were able to get into the theatre itself. And,
Victoria Brazier played Teresa and Polly Lister played Mary. They were fantastic.
They were.
Reginald Edwards played Frank. He was the other male character in the play, because there's only 6 characters in the play. And then
only 6 characters, and half of them were on Corrie, so it's great.
Yeah, Vicky Binns, who was Vi, and Helen Flanagan played Catherine. And Charlie played a character called Mike. It
was mostly about the 3 women, wasn't it? So Catherine, who was Helen's character. But do you want to give a little rundown about what was the story of the play, Gemma?
Well, it was about 3 sisters who had gathered in their mother's house to prepare for her funeral, and they all were talking about their childhoods and what their experiences of their mum and what she had been like with them. And Vicky Binns played the mother. Yeah. And she kept appearing as kind of a ghost or a memory, or... She
was kind of semi-haunting one of the sisters, but not in a spooky way or anything. She'd just come on and she'd have a stage cigarette and was kind of slinking around. And she was playing, obviously, a younger version of the mum was when she died. And it was really fascinating. She was so captivating, and then we'd not seen her in anything other than Coronation Street when she played Molly, and that was 15 years or so ago. But it was really interesting seeing her playing this like super confident, sexy sort of character, and then you had Helen was. It was like the part was written for her. And this is a proper famous old play, wasn't it? Wasn't this like a 30th anniversary performance of it or something?
It was the 20th anniversary. It was set in 1996.
It was set in 1996. So when we went into the auditorium, which was a really lovely, again, fairly intimate sort of place with the stage there in front of you,
right,
and like bleachers around.
So
it was playing all 1996 music, so I was in my element. They had 2 Spice Girls songs on just in the 20 minutes that we were waiting. It was fab. So Helen's character was like the
youngest girl.
Yeah, I don't know how old the characters were all supposed to be.
She was 33. They said
she was very, very rosy. She was very over the top. She was very.
She had no filter. She had no self-awareness. She was very concerned about the fact that her boyfriend was supposed to be coming and he was dishing.
She was waiting for the phone going, Xavier, is it you?
Yeah, been through many men, and she didn't settle down with any of them, and she was always feeling left out. And then you had the oldest child who
was a doctor.
No, that was the middle. She was the middle one.
Was she?
Victoria Brazier played Teresa, who was the oldest daughter, and she had a health food company with her husband, but she lived locally, and she'd been looking after their mum as she got sick with Alzheimer's, and so she was like shouldering the burden, and she was kind of resentful, but she also did it because she had a duty. And then the middle child, who was played by Polly Lister, who's Mary, was the Doctor, who was having an affair with Charlie D'Amelio's character, Mike.
Yes. So Mike makes his entrance in the play by climbing in through the window, because it's set in the winter of 96 and it's snowy. And I don't know, he can't get in through the front door for some reason, so he kind of climbs in through the window in this suit. And he was a bit more of a straight man sort of character, wasn't he?
He was a cad, wasn't he? And
yes.
I don't want
to give too much away of it.
Plot too much. There is a movie with Julie Walters. If you want to get an idea of the story of it, but it's such a brilliant. The two leads. The Victoria Brazier and Holly Lister. I've never seen them in anything before, but they were absolutely phenomenal. And it was set in the north, and they all had their accents, and it was a really lovely. And like Michael said, it was a very intimate, small venue.
Well, we were right on the front row.
We booked the front seats, and it was such.
We were probably what? A metre and a half away from the stage, and the stage was only about yay high off the floor, a foot off the floor. So we were eye level. Well, no, the actors were higher than us, weren't we? Because we were sitting down. But then there was the bed that was right next to us. So when the actors were having their scenes on the bed, you could almost reach out and touch them if you wanted to. I've never been that close to any play before.
And it was it was like watching TV good. Because they were so close, and you could see all their expressions, like. If you've been to the theatre, you'll know that sometimes you have to get a seat that you might as well just be watching toothpicks, how far away the people are from you, and you can't really see their expressions, but you can see they were so brilliant, all of them. They were such fantastic performers, and the play was so good. And all of the characters were fascinating.
I loved seeing Helen because, again, I'd not seen her do anything other than Corrie and Rosie Webster. And I was like, what's she going to be like? And, she had a lot of lines to learn. All of them did. But the three women, they had so much to learn. And it was all in one scene, one take almost, apart from the interval in the middle. And Helen did an amazing job, and she had me laughing. She was hilarious. She was overacting it all, but it was very much in character. And Charlie there kind of looking on, being kind of the suave cad, like you said, and like a little bit over his head in the middle of these three sisters. It was a really, really, really great performance.
And we also had, because it was a signed performance, so we had the
the interpreter,
British Sign Language, standing in.
She was right opposite us, wasn't she?
But it also had captions, and I'm going to petition for captions in plays. I think that if you're a performer, it must be quite unnerving, because if you get a line slightly wrong, everyone knows you've said it differently to the script. But it was there were a couple of bits where I'm like, I didn't catch what they said, but I can tell what they said. So as a captions lover, I was like, right, this is me from now on. I need to go to just captioned performances.
It was great. It was a couple of hours, wasn't it? And and then afterwards we went and we'd arranged to meet Charlie again, and he was kind of all of a flat, wasn't he? Because he knew that we wanted to meet Vicky and Helen as well. And it's like, hope they haven't gone. But they had. Does Vicky come out first, I think, or was it Helen? I don't remember.
Vicky came out.
Vicky, Charlie had said that he knew that she wouldn't want to stay for too long, because she always just kind of gets off fairly quickly after the shows. But she came over, and she was very lovely and spoke to us for
she's really
5 minutes or so. And I'd interviewed her 5 years ago, I can't remember, and she said she remembered. I don't know, but it was fab. And then we got a photo with her, and we said what a good job she did.
She did say it like she did remember.
She did say it like she remembered. She did. I don't know how many podcast interviews Vicky Benz usually does, but that was lovely. And then Helen comes out, very, very, what you might expect for Helen Flanagan, just like, oh, hello everybody.
She didn't sound like that.
She did. People have been asking whether I did my Helen Flanagan voice in her presence, and of course I didn't, but she was so sweet and so lovely. And
she was I'm just going to say, Rosie Webster doesn't feel like a big stretch for her, because she was so bubbly and sweet, and like she was all in pink. She had like a charm on her phone. She was like just
she had a
kind of
fluffy
like
jacket, didn't she?
So sweet, so nice.
And Charlie said to both of them, well, they've come all the way up from Southampton to see you, and they were like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And Helen said to Charlie, well, how do you know Charlie? And we got talking about the podcast. She said, oh, I didn't know there was a podcast, and I'll get this on record as well. Helen Flanagan said, I need to come on the podcast, so that's Helen and Aaron McCusker. you've made your promises now, okay? So
well,
everybody,
look,
watch this space.
We've been doing this long enough to know that
that doesn't always work out,
like
but
that,
they both said that they come on the podcast, so hey, we will have to look into that. We'll have to see. You never know. So we ended up.
I imagine Helen Flanagan would think that she would go to a podcast studio like these professional. No,
she knows how to use.
But she would be like, why have you guys got your own studio? Where's your sofa and your logo?
No, she can use her phone.
She's too big for us.
No. Anyway, she ended up going and talking for ages with her accountant.
It was this. We were sat in the bar area of the theatre, and so the actors, some of them, when they finished, had arranged to meet people, and so Charlie was talking to some other friends, and one of the other actresses was there, and she was talking to somebody. So everyone was sitting around chatting and drinking, and eventually it was time to go because the theatre was closing. So we had a photo with Helen.
Yes.
I had a photo with Vicky. I don't think. Oh, I made Charlie get in the pictures too. But then we said
you
goodbye.
stayed out of the pictures as per tradition.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, of course. And we said goodbye.
Then we headed off.
I did get to speak. Who did I get to speak to? Got to speak to Victoria Brazier.
Oh yeah, just in the car park.
In the car park. I just told her she was so fabulous because she really is. She's so talented.
It's not too late. It's coming to Liverpool.
Go and see this.
If you're in the vicinity and there's still tickets.
I'm sure that some Corrie people are going to be watching it in Liverpool as well.
Oh really?
I think so. So if you fancy going and maybe bumping into any celebrity viewers. That would be the place to do it. I don't know when. I'm not 100% certain on that.
Speaking of
definitely
which,
go and watch it. This is what I say about a lot. I think the only play I haven't loved was that Peter Ash one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. You didn't particularly go much for it, did you? I enjoyed it. Anyway, speaking of celebrity encounters, finally I got one in the wild on Wednesday morning, and it was right at the last minute. So we had to check out of our Airbnb at 10 o'clock, and I'd got up early. From about 7:30 or something, I was doing my little wanderings around MediaCity, going, oh, it's cold, I hope we see somebody. What time did people walk into work anyway? I don't even remember. Didn't see anybody. Went up to the flat. We all packed up to go home.
Yeah, because it's like not a normal job. People coming and going into that place. Oh, yeah.
So we ended up packing up the car, but because we were early, because we had our next appointment to go to in Saddleworth, at the Saddleworth Hotel, we said, let's just park up at Co-op here and have like a final wander around. So we walked through MediaCity, and Gemma, you were like, I'm cold. I don't need to do this. I just want to go and sit in the car until we need to leave.
It said it was -1, and I didn't have a coat. I just want to point that out to everybody. I had a cardigan that didn't button up.
So I said, I'm just going to go over the bridge one more time, and maybe I'll see somebody. And you were like, fine, I'm going back to the car.
Sit in the car.
So I walked over the bridge. No, nobody there. Walked back again. No, nobody. And then I got a text message from Gemma. Gemma, tell your side of the story.
No, it makes me sound like a weirdo.
No, it doesn't.
I just saw Patty Clay, who plays Mary.
Yes.
And she was walking along. I was like, oh my goodness me, what if... Because she was walking towards the bridge, and then I knew that you were going to come from that bridge, and there were two ways of going. And if you went one way, you wouldn't have seen her. And if you went another way, you would. So I wanted to make sure that you got to see her. So I texted Michael and said...
Patty Claire's on her way.
She's got a little case.
So I walked the right way, and I saw Patty, and I was like, hello, Patty, I'm from the podcast.
Oh, what a surprise. I didn't know you.
Anyway, she was lovely, and even though it was freezing cold, she stopped for a photo, and I said, I saw you in the audience with. It was great. You were really funny.
She is great.
It was a 20-30 second stop. But
nobody wants to stop.
I was very, very pleased because... I was thinking, is this going to be my first trip up to MediaCity where I don't get a selfie with one of the cast member? But I got one. And then we got back in the car, and then we drove off to Oldham to go and see the Saddleworth Hotel.
Well, hang on, it's near Oldham.
Near Oldham. You have to drive through Oldham to get it. It's in the Oldham postcode.
Yeah, and it is. It's a beautiful. It's like set in gorgeous rock. If you've seen Corriedale, you'll know that there's gorgeous countryside all around it, and it's
This was the hotel that they used for Debbie's wedding.
Yes, for Corriedale. And we got to meet Charlotte, who works there, and it's a family-owned business. It's family-run. She's not part of... She's one of the few people who work there that isn't part of the family. But she was so lovely, sweet.
Oh, we got there and we parked up in the car park and we're like, we recognise the main bit.
It's really distinctive.
It really, really is distinctive. And then we walked up the little passageway to the reception and the door opens up and like, this is clever, it's automated. But it wasn't. It was Charlotte there going, hello, are you from the podcast?
Yeah, she was really nice.
So lovely. And she's like, do you want a cup of tea? I'm like,
yes.
Yeah, okay then. So we sat down for a cup of tea and a biscuit and she told us all about Corriedale and about how it all kind of started back in the summer, I think, when ITV got in touch with them saying, look, we think we might want to do
they were scouting,
some filming around here, and then they ended up filming it in, was that late October, early November, I think she said. So it was a couple of months in between initial discussions and it actually taking place. And even she said that the director, David Kester, wasn't it?
Right.
He ended up staying at the hotel for a week beforehand just to soak in the vibes of it.
And
so
he
was
writing his, sort of sorting his scripts out and...
Yeah, and where am I going to film each bit from? So it was, it's no surprise that Corriedale and Debbie's wedding was a real full-on production. But it was lovely hearing about all the effort that went into it and all the logistics behind it.
And Charlotte was such a wonderful ambassador for the Saddleworth Hotel because she is really passionate about the place and what the facilities they offer and what they can do, because it is a hotel and a wedding venue, but also they're going to be opening a spa and a pool in the summer. So we got to see them building that as well, and it looks like it's going to be really gorgeous.
It looks really magnificent. It's like, maybe we want to go back and stay there. It's 4 stars, so I don't know, it might be a bit expensive. But...
They've got a restaurant there as well, and so Charlotte was showing us like the area where they set up an edit suite in the foyer of the hotel, which is where you come and have a drink, maybe if you're staying there. And then she told us that it's an Italian restaurant. I've forgotten the name of it, but they had their food and stuff in there, the catering, and I think a bit of green room was going on in there as well.
Yeah.
And then we went into the main area, which is where they filmed the wedding, and it is all set up like a wedding venue, but there are some key differences.
So you're talking about the big, because that was upstairs, wasn't it? You're talking about the function room.
Yeah, what was upstairs?
Yeah, that was the bit where Debbie
levels.
walks down the aisle, wasn't it? I was going to go.
Hang on,
I was going to go chronologically, but we can dot around in time if
mean?
you like. Well, the first place that we saw was the ballroom, wasn't it?
Well, this was the reception room where you have your wedding breakfast and your drinks and meal, and then there's the ceremony room, which is, as you said, upstairs. But the ballroom, as you called it, has got 2 floors. They never used the top floor for Coronation Street filming, but they did set up edit suites on that level so that they could keep an eye on, because when they're filming, I don't know if everybody knows this, but when they're filming, they are usually there's an assistant director and the director, and they are not always in the same place, but there's a bank of screens, and so the director's watching the screens, seeing how it's appearing on the screen, and then also not just the director but lots of other people are watching, like the hair and makeup, continuity, all have to keep an eye on how it's being filmed and watch every single thing that's happening to make sure that it's segmented out so that everyone's got one very specific task and they're only concentrating on that specific task. So there's a lot of people that all have to be watching as they're filming, and so I think that the Saddleworth Hotel's set up really well for them to had all this space that they could sort of see what's going on quite close to the action as it was being filmed. Yeah.
So this ballroom was where they had their wedding breakfast, where Todd got his drink spilled on him, where Tracy was being a cow to Cassie at the bar. There was the dance on the Monday episode, that was all in there. But something I found really interesting was how they didn't want the light from the windows coming in and also cars going past. So Coronation Street provided these big wood panels that they put over the windows, didn't they? And like Gemma said with the core, any extra bits and bobs they want on the walls, productions have to bring them themselves. So this was there, literally, something that somebody at Corrie had knocked up to cover it up. And you couldn't tell watching the episode at all. But they also... Charlotte told us left it there afterwards because Corrie doesn't need it. They couldn't use it again. So Saddleworth Hotel has now acquired some big wooden panels, which Charlotte said that they've been using to cover things up.
Well, it was
win-win really.
Debbie's wedding colours, which were like turquoise and gold, and it doesn't fit into how their vision of what the function room should look like, because they've got their own pictures obviously, and so they're going to
Debbie's wedding was going to be a bit on the garish side, wasn't it?
They're going to repurpose those pictures and put them in the spa. So if you go to the Saddleworth Hotel after they've opened the spa, you'll be able to see those pictures and panels and stuff being used there, which I think is really cool.
It's cool. They took us through the spa as it was in the middle of construction, wasn't it? And there's still clearly a long way to go.
Nice.
Looks lovely.
And because this hotel is so peaceful and it's in a really great location, it just seems like a perfect addition, because for a spa break.
Yes,
really nice.
For sure. So we went outside and we saw the buggy that Bernie and Debbie, I think it was, were riding in, but it had been done up with little Christmas stars and stuff.
Charlotte said it was Santa's sleigh at Christmas.
And then that took us up the back, and we climbed up a path, and that's where we saw the wooded area. So when Bernie went off with Debbie looking for the flowers, that was literally just right behind the hotel. We didn't explore in there, but that was cool because that could have been something that was filmed in a completely different place.
It didn't look like it was anywhere near this hotel.
No,
because
it was right behind it.
A very steep wooded bank, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was just there.
Yeah, and then that then led to the big grand stone gazebo, which was quite the centerpiece of the outdoor scenes. And you had scenes of Carl was boozing there, and I think Abby and Kevin maybe had a confrontation there as well. So we took some pictures of that. That was really beautiful. And Charlotte said that sometimes they have weddings outside there.
Yes,
didn't they?
They've now got their license.
Didn't she tell us that the Saddleworth Hotel was the first place to get a license for outdoor weddings once it was allowed, once that became legal in this country? They were the first place in the country to get it, and yes, that was quite a cool little fact.
And one thing that she was saying to us as well is that it's not just family owned and run, but they build a lot. They've built this place themselves. The owners are constantly building stuff and constructing things, and so it's a labour of love, and all of these rooms and things are very personal to them. I just want to quickly say, on the top level of the wedding room, there's this really cool blossom tree. I bet that's got good photos.
So we went back inside again, and that's when we were taken to the room where the wedding ceremony took place, for Debbie's wedding. And again, that was slightly different looking, because if you remember from the episode, there was a big kind of pink circle at one end of the room, and that was actually covering a mirror, which they couldn't have on screen because they'd be picking up all the cameras in it. So all these little touches
they
that you have to consider.
They couldn't move it as well. They tried to move it, but it was too heavy, and it's antique, so they had to leave it in there. And they also have the piano in there that Billy played.
Billy pretended to play. Well, Dan Brockbank spent 2 weeks learning how to play On Top of the World on, and then they didn't even need him to do it. But that was cool, so I had to sit and I had to play around on.
So they've got 2 pianos there, and Charlotte was telling us that the owner's daughter is a very talented musician, and she can play piano for ceremonies, also the harp.
Oh yes, yeah.
So that's really nice.
That was really nice being in that room.
And she was talking to us about the dementia choir came in, and they recorded this bit in situ, and
they said they had to record the dementia choir bits relatively quickly,
very quick,
just so that they didn't get too confused or distressed by it. Exactly. And then they took us into the bridal suite, which was at the beginning of the Friday episode. So when Debbie was getting all done up at the beginning, and I think it was the room that they used for when Cassie was locked in the bathroom as well, but it was room number 1, and they took us into there with this big ornately carved 4-poster bed. It was lovely.
Yeah, and she was saying that Coronation Street was trying to... So they filmed at Saddleworth Hotel for 2 weeks, so they had to shut down the whole hotel the entire time that they were filming there. And they originally only wanted to do 1 week because it would reduce the costs, obviously.
Yeah, because ITV has to pay to close the hotel for as long as they need it,
So what they wanted to do was replicate this 4-poster bed and have it in their studio so that they could film stuff there and could, make it cheaper. They just could not replicate the look of this bed because it was so ornate and carved and gorgeous. And obviously they couldn't take it out because it was been constructed in this room.
Yeah, because in the episode you see Todd and Theo's hotel room as well, and that was not filmed at the Saddleworth Hotel. That was done up as a set in MediaCity.
Those rooms look anything like.
No, they don't look anything like.
I don't understand why they put the rooms like that. But and also the other thing that's completely different is the toilets, because
the scene in the toilets,
and the girls went and sat in the toilets and had a chat. But the toilets at Saddleworth Hotel are a lot nicer than the ones that
these were the toilets in the Corrie experience, weren't they? So if you go on the tour and you go into the toilets, you can just go and have a look at those for yourself if you want to.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was basically...
I should have taken a photo of it.
I know we should have done. Oh well.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was it. We were there for about an hour or so, and Charlotte was so generous with her time, and it was lovely hearing about all the Corrie lot coming over, and she said that she hadn't watched much Corrie, so she didn't really know who people were. She did call out Brian Gunn as being particularly lovely and talkative as well. Peter Gunn, sorry, who plays Brian, as being particularly lovely.
Well, she recognised him from the Hannah Montana movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so she was telling us about that, and I said that Jack Colson and Ben have their podcast, and he was the first guest to talk about that movie. That's
right. So anyway, that was the end of that. I mean, they are running a competition, which Charlotte told us about, which was... You can find about it on our social media as well, but you can win the chance to have a night in that bridal suite that Coronation Street used.
I think it's 2 nights.
2 nights in April, I think it is.
Yeah.
And then on the Saturday do the Coronation Street tour, and on the Sunday go and do the Emmerdale tour. So it's a really cool sounding Corriedale experience. We won't enter, but it's I highly encourage you to, if you'd quite like the sound of it, because it sounds like quite the prize.
It's a great base to be if you want to go to both of those.
Yeah.
And now that it's a filming location, if you're coming to the UK to see Corrie, I would definitely recommend going and staying there for a night just to see some of the bits.
Yeah.
Just remember though, it is a wedding venue, so it depends on what time of the year it is or what day of the week it's going to be, but there may be people using those rooms for their intended purpose. Yeah. Also, if you want to have a wedding, a Corrie themed wedding, what a perfect place to do it.
Well, it is now.
And you can invite us if you like.
Yeah, I'll come. We'll come along to any wedding.
Anyway,
that was lovely. we headed off and we had one final place that we wanted to visit before we went, because the lovely folk at Corriepedia, just a couple of days before we left actually, posted us another location that they'd found. And I don't know how on earth they found
this. They're so clever.
But back in 1997... poor Derek Wilton met his maker after a road rage incident while driving out in the countryside, and over in Bollington Lane near Monk's Heath, which is just a bit south of Manchester. This is where they filmed this, and we were like, well, we can go along and see that. So we did, and it was kind of en route, kind of a bit of a detour, but we thought, oh, why not? What the heck? It's not raining, so we decided to rock up there, and yeah, it could be parked up. It's funny because if you watch the episode, you see that Derek pulls into a little lay-by there, and that's not there anymore. It's all kind of overgrown, but we could still stop at the side of the road, and I did some hammy heart attack acting while Gemma held a paperclip in front of the camera, to replicate the giant paperclip that was on top of Derek's car. But there's not much to say about that location.
There's not much to say about it, but there is a farm place, and I can't work out what it's called, but
there was a little farm shop about 30 seconds drive away from it, so we were like, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna have lunch, and then head back down to Southampton.
I wouldn't recommend going there when we went there, because again, it was cold and there was actually nowhere to sit inside. It was just
we got a nice pizza, didn't we?
Yeah, they did pizzas.
So anyway, that was a bit of a bonkers place that I'm sure none of you will really want to go and visit, but you can if you want to.
There's
you
literally
ardent Derek Wilton fans.
It's not recognisable at all.
Well, we put up a few shots and we're like, oh yeah, I think you recognise the junction that he and the other road rage driver turn into.
I told Michael to drive in, but he wouldn't.
I wouldn't, because you told me I'd have to blur out a number plate, and I don't know how to do that.
Well, I don't want people reporting us for parking on their road or whatever.
That was it. That was the end of our holiday, and so we just made a little little short podcast today to tell you about all our highlights, but it was a really, really lovely trip. Thank you again, as always, to our patrons and even just people who watch us on YouTube and help add to the pot which goes towards these trips to Corrie land up north.
If you like this, please do feel free to do super thanks.
It was absolutely lovely to go and see Charlie and Helen and Vicky in that play. And honestly, if you're in the Liverpool area when it comes to you over the next few weeks, we heartily recommend going to see it. It was a really, really fab production, and the Saddleworth Hotel, what a treat and a pleasure.
Definitely go to that
the courts in Bolton. I was very, very fortunate. Usually when we turn up to these filming locations, we don't usually tell anyone that we're coming, but for this one I was like, you know what, I don't want to just get a photo of the outside of it. I want to see if they'll let us in. And Julian was really lovely with his time, and very fascinating hearing about all the stories of filming there, and just getting to explore the catacombs of Bolton Town Court. I know,
because we would never end up there.
No, of course not.
And the interesting thing about it is that because it is it's a Crown Court, so it would be a mixed prison, which never happens.
No.
So they would have had men and women down. Maybe that's why there were so many cells, because they had to separate them. I don't know. I don't know how they do it.
Well, anyway, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you to the people at the Bolton Film Board for letting us in. Thank you, Charlotte at Saddleworth Hotel. Thank you very, very much, lovely Patty Claire, for stopping and getting a freezing photo with me on Wednesday morning. That really did make my day. And thank you in advance, Helen Flanagan and Aaron McCusker, for coming on the podcast, because you promised it now, and I think you're both brilliant. I genuinely love Ben, and I think that Rosie Webster is proper iconic. So watch this space, everybody. You never know. Right, we're going to go now. Say goodbye, Gemma.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody. See ya. Ta-ra.